is Morgana, and welcome to a game called TOUCHSTARVED. I remember getting ads for this way back in the day. By way back in the day, I mean like a few months ago. This is, I believe, some form of dating sim slash like your choices matter story type of game. And I'm really excited. As someone who played so many otome games growing up, this is right up my alley, like quite literally. I most likely will be playing the full version when this comes out, because especially if I like the game, and I can't see myself not liking it. This is completely up my alley, especially for someone who played so many otome games. The Shall We Date series, the Ikemen Shall We Date series, Mystic Messenger, Obey Me, all of them. I played so many. Yeah, I was saying there's over 15 endings. This is kind of like a not choose your own adventure, but my choices matter type of situation. Not sure what route I'm gonna go for. I haven't read anything about the boys or like the possible, the main men I can go after or anything like that. I don't know anything about the story, the world. I'm guessing some of them aren't human based on their pictures, but other than that, no, absolutely nothing. So let's just jump right in and create this character, because this is loud in my ear. Oh, new game. Why am I pressing continue? I've never played this. Disclaimers. Do I click? Yeah. Streamers and content creators should turn music volume to 0 in order to disable copyrighted music. This is a demo of TouchStar Prologue and not the finished product. Okay. Thank you. All right, TouchStarved is intended for an older audience. It contains mature content that includes, but is not limited to, horror, graphic violence, strong language, alcohol and drug references, injury and dismemberment. Player discretion is advised. So you've been warned. If you accept the content warning, please click to proceed. Tutorial: your choices matter. The decisions you make will result in unique dialogue interactions or even choices in red text which contain exclusive content. Try playing through the demo more than once and choosing different options. You might even uncover a secret ending, and remember, there are no wrong choices, only interesting ones. Choose wisely and save often. Boy, the choose wisely, sure. The save often? Man. Controls: left click, progress dialogue, text, mouse up wheel to rewind. Okay. Down to progress text and dialogue. Spacebar to hide the UI. Okay. My name. That's me. Choose your pronouns. Can I turn off the audio while I'm here? Honestly? I guess they'll let me do it in a bit. She, her. This world began to unravel long before you were born. It began with fogfall. Spectral mist bled from the seams where reality wore so thin it split. Oh, wait. I just went back. Let me turn on the music volume. Okay, so I'll, when I edit this, I'll put in like my own copyright-free music, but I'm not sure if that music was copyrighted or not, but we'll see. All right, let's get back to it. Long before you were born. It began with fogfall. Spectral mist bled from the seams where reality wore so thin it split. And from that fog emerged monsters, inhuman beings with unnatural powers. Some possessed language and intellect, others were mindless beasts driven by little more than the desire to slaughter. As cities fell and unrest spread, humans united in their fear while monsters thrived in the chaos. And then there's you. What am I, like half monster? You're not even sure if you're human. You were born cursed, with hands that alter the minds of anyone you touch. Choose your backstory. Interesting! Y'all, I've never played D&D, and I feel like this is pretty close to it. I'm gonna play at some point. I have friends that play, so I'll learn. And I want to play Baldur's Gate at some point as well. Okay. The origins: the Untamed, the Hound, and the Alchemist. The Untamed, a fallen oracle. You were raised as an oracle in a remote temple. The priest claimed your touch bestowed enlightenment, but a visiting mage revealed your curse for what it is. Following the mage's word, you fled in search of the cenobium. You regularly... Okay. You regularly experience unnatural premonitions that rattle your body and soul. An innate sixth sense gives you a heightened awareness of hidden supernatural presences around you. That might be pretty helpful. You were raised by the Hound, a forsaken thief. You were raised by society's outcasts, criminals who accepted you when nobody else would. Your partner in crime, a friend since childhood, helped you steal enough money for a cure, then betrayed you. They left you with only enough coin to travel to the cenobium, your last hope. You have sharply honed social intuition. You can survive and even thrive in the violent underbelly of any city, using your experience with the underworld to get ahead. Interesting. The Alchemist, an abandoned mage. An exile cenobium mage took you in as a child, raising you as her apprentice. She seemed to take pity on your curse, but you discovered that she was cultivating you as a test subject. You fled to the cenobium seeking a cure. You are an experienced spellcaster with encyclopedic knowledge of alchemy, spellcraft, and history. With little observation, you can identify the subtle effects of magic. I'm choosing between the fallen oracle and the abandoned mage. I feel like being able to identify magical effects will help me against people who are going to try to use magic to deceive or hurt me, or possibly one of the alliances I make. Or a heightened sense of awareness for supernatural presences around me will allow me to, I guess if somebody's trying to spy on me, or like if I'm about to be attacked, if that person is supernatural, which I'm assuming everyone in this situation, or well, in the story is, I'll be able to sense that they're nearby and allow me to make better judgment about what I do and how they perceive me and what I say. But having some magical knowledge might be super helpful. I don't know. We'll see. I want to just play the demo once and then come back when the actual game is finished. But if I really, really like this, I might do a couple more playthroughs. Maybe try a different origin and see if I get a different ending. But I didn't even start the game yet. This is going to take me... Okay. There's only 3 classes. I can just choose one. Okay. I'm going to go with the Alchemist for now. The Unnamed is calling my name, but I think the Alchemist would be the most useful to me for now. Watch me regret this decision. Your name is Morgana. You selected she, her pronouns. Your backstory is the Alchemist. Is this correct? Sure is. Oh my god. I didn't mean to do that. I keep forgetting up is rewind and down is continue. Yes. The wasteland stretches as far as the eye can see. There's nothing out here but death, the ever-present stench of decay, and countless sun-bleached bones cast like seeds across the barren land. I could say death doesn't scare me, but to tell the truth, I'm desperate. It's been 2 weeks since I joined a caravan bound across the waste. Finding a group that would accept me was a trial in itself. As rations grew sparse and my canteen ran dry, I began to despair, but then I saw it. Beautiful. Eridia, the city of knowledge. One of the last bastions of humanity left in the world and home to the famous academy called the Cenobium. That's what that is, okay. All the world's knowledge gathered in one place. If there's anywhere I'll find a cure for my curse, it's here. All that stands between me and a cure is a final stretch of salt-soaked waste, or so I think, until I see the first tendrils of fog snaking beneath the wagon. Is this fogfall? My stomach sinks at the very whisper of it. A silent storm more devastating than fire. Dangerous in cities, but a death sentence beyond them. A thick blanket of fog engulfs us, smothering out the lantern's light. The wagon lurches to a stop. An eerie silence, heavy as the mist falls over us. The only warning we get is a strangled scream. Stay back, no! The cry dissolves into wet gurgling. Oh, this is, if only I had music. Y'all will have me. Oh. Okay, there goes my sound that I was looking for. Then, the wagon violently pitches to the side. I hit the ground hard, the air punched from my lungs. When I open my eyes, adrenaline lends sudden, awful clarity to the carnage around me. A trader I once shared bread with lies face down in the mud, their back reduced to long strings of torn muscle, gleaming gristle, and exposed bone. Bodies litter the wasteland. I try to rise, but my ankle explodes with pain so blinding, white blooms across my vision. Only when my eyes adjust do I see the dark shape in front of me. Oh. A soulless stoops over the twisted form of a caravaner? I freeze, but it swivels its head. A dozen bulging eyes twitch in my direction and blink as one. The soulless lets out an ear-splitting shriek, then runs at me. But right before it reaches me, the beast barrels past, vanishing into the mist. Distantly, I hear a horse scream in the dark. I need to move now. There's no point in heading back towards the wagon. I don't think you're gonna make it to the city. Head towards the wagon. I take cover beside the wagon where the air is thick with greasy smoke. Fire eats at the gaping hull, sputtering where lantern oil mixes with brackish water. Every person I see is dead or dying, except one. Oh, All-Mother, forgive our sins. Guide us into your hearth. We are worthy. We are worthy. A traveler grovels by the flames, their hands clasped above their head in fervent prayer. I glance upward towards the gauzy lights of Eridia, just visible where the fog runs thinnest. I don't pray, but the light of the city is all the reminder I need. I came too far to die here. Rapid footsteps echo all around me. I turn in circles, frantically searching the opaque mist for the source, but the fogfall twists and stretches sound. Suddenly, the caravan's driver bursts forth from the fog. Our eyes meet too late. He slams into me, knocking me to the ground, and slips in a patch of mud. The soulless falls on him as soon as he slows. It catches the driver by his throat and rakes his stomach with razor-sharp claws. Yeah, if I left and just started walking towards the city, I would have been alone in the mist, and this thing would have got me. He comes apart like wet paper, spilling intestines and viscera and a streaming tide. Fighting the urge to heave, I claw frantically through the slippery muck for a handhold. Shit. My reaction exactly. My hand catches the jagged edge of a rib jutting out from the water. Bandages unfurl around the gouge torn deep into my palm. Oh, infection? Well, she might die. I guess the infection comes for infection is something survivals worry about. The pain is quickly forgotten when a hand encloses around my wrist. Can you stand? The praying traveler leans over me. We need to run. What's that on my hand? They reach for my hand and I realize too late that my bandages have come undone. No, don't touch me. The sensation of their thumb brushing the back of my hand sends a shiver down my spine. All it takes is one touch, and in the space of breath, my curse takes hold. Their lips peel back into a deranged grin. Ha 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 ha, hee 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 hee, ha 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 ha. No, I've seen this face countless times before. This is my curse, madness of my making, my own making. Their grip on my hand tightens until pain radiates from my knuckles. Let me... Suddenly, clammy hands crush my throat, choking off my breath. Die, 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 die. Oh god. Spit bubbles at the corners of their mouth and flecks my face. The edges of my vision darkens as my lungs scream for air. Fight them off. You can't scream. You can't open your mouth. My nails gouge deep into the traveler's wrist. Aim for the eyes, but no matter how much blood I draw, they don't flinch. The more I struggle, the tighter their grip grows. My pulse hammers in my ears, slowing with each thudding beat. This can't be happening. I'm going to die, and not because of the fog fall or the soulless, but because of my own curse. Tears sting my eyes. No, no, no. Not here, not like this. The hands drop from my neck, leaving me wheezing for air. My lungs burn with each ragged cough. My vision clears and the traveler's face takes shape, hovering inches from mine, lips still split in a macabre smile, even as blood seeps between their teeth. They give one last shuddering breath, then slump over, the claws hooked through their stomach. Yeah, I figured this thing killed it. The soulless shoves the body aside, their glowing eyes studying its leathery skin as though grinning. Poor guy. There's a flash of claws, red spills across my vision. I thought there'd be pain, but as I sink into the murky water, all I can feel is the grit of silt filling my mouth in the icy embrace of shallow water. Distantly, I notice an arm resting amongst an outcrop of reeds, mine nearly severed at the elbow. Oh. It should have taken both arms. Without them, maybe I could have survived. Maybe I could have had a home. Instead, I'll die cold, alone, and face down in a desolate wasteland. A fitting end for a monstrosity like me. Oh, my eyes. My eyes! If this is death, it's not as bad as I feared. The code is gone, and it's choking. It's so bright I can't focus. The code is gone, and as is the choking stench of bog water. I could drift forever, cocooned in oblivion, until all thought and sensation vanished. No curse, nobody howling at me in the madness and terror, nothing at all. The thought has a terrible appeal to it. But the next moment, I take a reflexive breath. Air pours into my lungs, then out again in a ragged gasp. Feeling comes flooding back. Warm cloth on my bare skin, a firm surface underneath me. A strange tang of sulfur in the air. The sulfur stinks. Do not be afraid. Is this a man or a woman? Or a person in general? Oh. Hey. I twist my head towards the voice. Tears flood my bleary vision at the bright glow of the lamplight. Yeah, that was me like a second ago. So bright. Try not to move. The voice is calm, steady, and commanding, but more importantly, it's a stranger's voice. One thought cuts through my mental fog. I have no idea who this is, and I'm completely at their mercy. Stay away from me. My words come out in little more than a creaky whisper. I clamp my mouth shut, hating how weak and helpless I sound. No. Okay, well, that ends that. No? Who the hell is this? Will you hurt yourself trying to sit up? I feel like I would try to sit up too. I managed to push myself up on one elbow, but my head swims and my surroundings give an alarming lurch. A stubborn patient. I don't have the strength to dignify that with the response. Instead, I pull the sheet up higher and wipe my tears until my vision clears. Wipe my eyes until my vision clears. Oh. The stranger towers over my prone form. Warm light reflects off his pristine medical coat. I instinctively shrink back, and that's when I notice that I'm completely naked except for a thin linen sheet. Boy, oh boy. Naked, lying in a low cot with a pair of sharp golden eyes watching my every move. The man's gaze flickers to my exposed, unbandaged hands. I plunge my hands under the sheet to hide them from sight, though it's too late. He must have noticed what they look like. Strange, cursed, inhuman. I brace myself for his inevitable suspicion and disgust, but his expression doesn't flicker from that courteous smile. He probably saw it when he stripped you of your wet clothes. That would have probably given you an infection, considering you almost got your arms cut off, right? He just watches in placid silence as I struggle to make sense of my surroundings. Also, he must know what the curse is to have enough sense to not touch it. Either that or he has some form of magic or something that it didn't drive him to madness. Where am I? Who are you? Be calm. You are safe here. I can't do like a sexy dark man voice because I am not a sexy dark man. Whoever this is, he clearly has no idea who or what I am. I've never been safe anywhere with anyone. Even my own mentor, my teacher, thought I was nothing but a convenient specimen to be used and discarded. Okay, so the backstory actually matters. Sometimes in games like this, it'll be like, choose a backstory, and it's more for like the player. But I wonder if different backstories will get different reactions from the various characters. Like, will some of them be like, man, I hate when parental figures are just using you for their own things, or and so on and so forth with the others. I scowl, pulling the sheet protectively around myself. Where are my clothes? The man's golden eyes narrow slightly. A sharp sigh rustles the papers in his hands. I see you are not to be dissuaded. Well, okay, you're cute and all, but like, I'm still naked in a place where I don't know. Just because you're in a cute doctor's uniform and you're all spiffy does not mean you're trustworthy. Your clothes were torn to shreds when I found you, but I procured replacements. Wow, completely different art style. With a soft creak, he stands from his chair, giving me a better view of my surroundings. I seem to be in some sort of medical clinic. Bottles of silvery alchemical concoctions line the counters in neat rows. I'm surprised I made it through that sentence. I don't have a lisp or anything, but sometimes my tongue, it doesn't move as quickly as my brain does. So I promise y'all, I read these things correctly, it just doesn't come out that way sometimes. The air makes my nose twitch, a faint whiff of smoke and something distinctly metallic that I can't quite place. Blood? The doctor produces a large, dense bundle of cloth, which he sets at the foot of my cot. He's easily a head taller than most, and I have to crane my neck to look at him. Thank you? I'm not getting dressed right here, though. But appreciate it. I should be polite if I can, especially since I don't know who this is, what he can do, or what he wants with me. Thank you. You're welcome. I will leave you to get dressed. Yeah, I figured he would do that on his own. He's cute, though. I like his earrings. Who you shop with? Is that from Etsy? With a curt nod, he leads through a narrow door. Okay. I like this skeleton picture on the side here. My mouse is actually on screen for this one, so y'all can see what I'm like circling. Oh, this is so cool. I'm looking at the art. I have to appreciate it while I'm here. These little syringes and everything over here. I saw a video of someone who transformed their kitchen into like a fantasy style kitchen. They put their spices into like the test tubes right here. I don't know. It's really inspiring. Also, I want a jewelry box that's like this for my for my rings. I like to buy when I have money, because this is an expensive thing for me to be doing, but I like to get rings and necklaces and stuff from crap, why is the name eluding me all of a sudden? I literally just thought it. Oh my gosh, from stores that sell old things. That is not very specific, but if you go to a store and they sell old things and you go to the jewelry section, I like to get stuff from there. I'm moving on because I can't speak. I hear a soft click as the lock turns behind him. I count to 3 in the sudden silence. When I don't hear any more footsteps, I reach for the bundle of clothes. An itch on my elbow stops me short. I reach down to absently rub at it, then freeze when my fingers meet a neat line of stitches. Yeah, girl, your arm is gone. Am I one armless? I know what I saw. The beast took my arm clean off. Yeah. Oh, is she gonna get a cool like prosthetic, like a magical one? And then she can like, will she have that dilemma where she can actually touch someone with one of her hands, but the person she wants to touch most, she can't feel them, but at least she kind of gets to touch them? That is cruel and beautiful at the same time. And if it's not, I'm gonna be kind of sad. Please have a little bit of an emotional crisis that you can touch but not feel your loved ones. And yet my arm shows no sign of injury apart from the black stitches poking through my skin. I gingerly flex my fingers, feeling my heart race at the sensation. Yeah, I've heard, I don't have any missing limbs, but I've heard from people that who have lost a limb, that the sensation of like phantom feeling your arms moving, or whichever limb is not the same, like the feeling of it moving but not being there is such an odd one. And I can only imagine. This is impossible. I should be dead, or at the very least gasping out my last breaths. Maybe he didn't want to die. Maybe he didn't want you to die. I squeezed my eyes shut, waiting for the pleasant dream to unravel, to wake up bleeding out in the swamp. But nothing happens. The seconds tick by and my arm remains resolutely healed and my surroundings pristine and quiet. In numb disbelief, I reach for the replacement clothes and begin stiffly pulling them on. They're thicker and warmer than mine were, with a black woolen cloak to go with them, but there's one thing still missing: my bandages. The golden-eyed man didn't leave me with any, even though I know he saw my hands. I slide off the bed and take a few unsteady steps towards the drawers. If this is indeed a doctor's clinic, there must be bandages somewhere. I don't think he's a regular doctor. I start opening drawers at random, and of course that's when the door swings open once more. Are you looking for something? Bandages. I whirl around, clutching a thick roll of clean bandages. I try to step back from him, but my legs bump against the edge of the cot. Your caution is understandable, though if I meant you any harm, you would know. If I meant you any harm, you wouldn't have woke up, to be honest. You would have been harmed unbeknownst to you, because you'd be dead. That doesn't make me feel better in the slightest, but he makes no move towards me, so I quickly wind the bandages around my hands. The glowing scars and mottled skin disappear under a layer of clean white cotton. May I ask why you need additional bandages? He's like, look at his face, bro. He's like, is she okay? I clench my jaw. I knew it would only be a matter of time before he asked about my hands, though the way he does it is strangely roundabout. Say nothing, glare at him, decline to answer. You know, some things just have to remain private. Well, that's a very personal question, and I don't really want to answer. Is that so? Surely you realize that I can help you if you tell me what ails you. Well, I actually feel like he might have some way to, I don't think heal the curse completely, but he might come up with a different solution that allows us to live more comfortably, right? An involuntary snort of laughter escapes me. Where would I even begin? Would he believe me if I told him? Look at him, bro. Does he look like, based off of the way he's dressed, he doesn't look like a regular guy. No, best to keep my curse to myself for now and learn more about him first. I agree. I also would not have spilled my guts to him or anything like that. I'm serious about the earrings. Those are nice. Who are you? You may call me Kuris. Hi, Kuris. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing this correctly. If you know that I'm pronouncing this very incorrectly, please let me know. And where exactly am I? Eridia, which I assume was your caravan's destination. I can think of nowhere else for a group of travelers to go. Eridia, so I made it to the City of Knowledge after all. I should feel relieved, but all I can manage is a vague sense of increasing unease. How did I end up here? I brought you to my clinic, of course. You were the only survivor from the caravan, barely clinging to life. You needed immediate treatment, which you provided. Yes. Oh, look at his little things under his eyes. He's so cute. He says it so simply, as if I'm a small child and he's explaining basic addition to me. I frown and flex the fingers on my recently healed arm. Aside from being a bit stiff, it feels fine. Thoroughly attached to me. You're saying that you stitched my arm back on. Oh! Okay, I did not understand that at all. I thought when she touched the stitches, she was touching like a nub. I did not realize that he actually just stitched the arm back on Frankenstein style. That's even better. Pardon? A Solus attacked the caravan. It ripped everyone to shreds. It tore my arm clean off. When I woke up here, spent my entire life learning from a Cenobian mage. I know of no alchemy or magic that could reattach a severed limb. Even if he somehow could heal me by magic, I could detect traces of it, but I sense nothing out of the ordinary at all. I love when things come into play. I love that. The doctor, curious, pinches the bridge of his nose. He sits back down in his chair, quiet for a long time. I do not know where you come from, but Eridia is the city of knowledge and deadly secrets alike. Information is power, and it is most unwise to give or receive it freely. Since you have refused to divulge your secrets, I will not divulge mine. I do not even know your name. You are new to Eridia, so I will overlook this specific breach of etiquette. However, you should not expect others to extend that same courtesy. Yeah, you're a cool guy, Curious. Are you my route? Let me meet the others before I choose you. Do you understand? Sure do. He looks pointedly at my freshly bandaged hands. Loath though I am to admit it, he has a point. I am also a complete stranger to him, and if he's telling the truth, he saved my life. I take a deep, steadying breath. This time when I speak, I sound a bit more like myself. Morgana. My name is Morgana. It is a pleasure to meet you, Morgana. Look at his little smile. There's a little more warmth in his smile, his polite demeanor back in an instant. Thank you for saving me. Why did you save me? Might as well thank him. Thank you for saving my life. I chance to smile in return. Even if you want to explain how he did the impossible, there's no doubt in my mind that I'd be dead if not for Curious. Exactly. Think nothing of it. I'm not sure if he's just being excessively courteous, but his words only raise more urgent questions. But I have to ask, why did you save me? You don't know me. The question seemed to startle Curious. I could hardly leave you to die in the wastes. Assisting those in need is the very essence of a doctor's duty. I've never met a doctor who also handed out free clothes. My fingers find the edge of the cloak. There's a subtle but delicately embroidered pattern around the hem. I try not to think about what kind of price Curious might have asked for such well-made clothes. No, I suppose not. Forgive my presumption. I really come across so fascinating a patient. I blink. What did he just say? I simply meant that few would cling to life so resolutely or brave such a perilous journey to Eridia. I feel like I've never read before in my life, bro. I feel like this is my first time ever looking at words. Why am I struggling? I could not help being curious about you, Morgana. His voice dips to a soft murmur, and he abruptly looks away from me. Aww. You're pretty curious yourself. I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, you're an interesting fellow. You're pretty curious yourself. Am I? He likes to hear that. Well, I haven't forgotten about my arm. I wiggle my intact fingers at him. Clearly not. But you haven't asked me for any payment either. I require none from you. Travelers do not have an abundance of coin, and it would be unethical to leave you destitute in a strange place. I fall silent, unsure what to say to that. Nobody would help a whore like me for free. There has to be some kind of catch or trick, right? A loud knock at the front door stops our conversation cold and spares me from having to say anything else. Duty calls. Unfortunately, you are not my only patient today. The knocking grows more insistent, and Curious lets out a Curious. Where's this accent coming from? Curious lets out a tired sigh. Curious. Please wait your turn. Though he says it quietly, the clamor on the other side of the door abruptly stops. Do you need anything before you leave, Morgana? Could I get like a map? A pamphlet, perhaps? Between the soulless attack and my miraculous survival, I'd almost forgotten why I came to Eridia in the first place. I need directions to the cenobium. Yeah, that's pretty much what I just asked for. The cenobium? Oh. Oh, he pauses, choosing his... The look on his face is downright chilling. He pauses, choosing his words with cold deliberation when he speaks again. Whatever you seek, it is very unlikely you'll find it there. The cenobium's gates are open for precious few visitors. Even if they did, he would not like what you found inside. My heart sinks. Is he saying I really came all this way for nothing? Risk my life and limb for nothing? No, that can't be. I only just arrived, and Eridia is the largest city still standing. There has to be a cure for me here. Then if not the cenobium, where would you suggest? Do you know anyone else in Eridia? I shake my head. Then I suggest a local guide. Head to the Wet Wick and ask for Leander. Excuse me? The wet what? The wet wick, girl. Keep up. The wet wick. He sounds so deeply unamused. Follow the postings advertising Leander's bloodhounds. They are difficult to miss. When you meet Leander, tell him I sent you. There isn't much to go on, but Curious points towards the clinic's back door. You will be safe so long as you do not draw attention to yourself. It's easier said than done. I've always been a magnet for the worst sort of attention. If you require my assistance, you may return whenever you wish. Though he's smiling, there's a note of finality in his voice. Resigned to my dismissal, I slip out the back door. Okay. Oh. I found myself standing in a narrow and rather gloomy alley. I pulled a cloak over my nose, stepping over the contents of chamber pots that have been emptied into the streets. I forgot. That's what that's what like medieval Europeans and a few other cultures used to do, which is why they had such terrible plagues. That and the rats. Something weighs heavily inside one of the cloak's pockets. My coin purse. Everything's still inside. Every last coin that I scraped together for the journey to Eridia. It doesn't even look like it was opened. There were so few coins to begin with, they probably weren't worth stealing. I glanced back at the clinic's closed door. Curious didn't take any payment. He didn't even ask for a future favor. But he also said that in Eridia, secrets are power. Did he expect me to give up mine at some point? It's not exactly a comforting thought. Still, no matter why he did it, Curious gave me a second chance and a lead on where I might find help. I'd better get going before he changes his mind. I squeeze out of the alley and into the crowded main street. The line outside of Curious' clinic stretches down the road already. Two thin peddlers queue alongside weathered elders. If any place is in desperate need of a free clinic, it's this one. The cobblestones are treacherously rough under my feet, deep grooves worn beneath them by regular flooding and decades of hard use. I knew Eridia was a river city, but I didn't expect it to look so eroded. The buildings are tired and dilapidated, all crammed together in narrow streets. A child darts by, clutching something greasy wrapped in paper. The smell of fried food drifts over me. My stomach gives a faint gurgle. This morning's catch. Fried up hot and fresh. Not too many eyeballs today. That sounds disgusting, but I'm starving, so I duck my head under the stall's scrubby awning. A large fish leers up at me, its 3 bulging eyes visible through the thick layer of crispy batter. The vendor gives me a gap-toothed grin. What's the cheapest thing you've got? The vendor points at a metal basket of what looks like long strips of savory fried dough. Fresh long, lads. 3 copper apiece. Don't burn your mouth. I take the coins out, counting them gingerly. At this rate, I might not even be able to afford dinner. Reluctantly, I drop the payment on the counter and take my meal. 2 streets later, I pass under a wrought iron archway adorned with dangling garlands of red and pink lilies. Oh, this is a cute little street too. The buildings in this quarter are a dizzying riot of color, painted walls and tinted glass everywhere I look. Yeah, I was thinking about that. It reminds me of the Village Square scene from Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, the one with Brandy. Sheer red and pink curtains flutter in open doorways. Musical voices call out invitingly. Incense mingles with the pungent scent of flowers, barely covering the salt and musk of warm bodies. Is this a red light district? This must be Eridia's entertainment district. Close enough. I'm polishing off my food and dusting the crumbs from my hands when I spot a poster. It features the silhouette of a smiling man wearing a single dagger-like earring and the word Bloodhounds printed above his head. A motto, as above, so below, circles the artwork. Oh, I love that movie, by the way. I know this like from Dante's Inferno, but I haven't read that. I'm really not interested. But the movie, I do really like. If Leander is the leader of the Bloodhounds, then the face printed on the poster is likely his. Well, probably not actually. If the leader of the Bloodhounds is kind of like the information broker, like I think he is, then it's probably not his face. It's probably whoever the fake face of the company is. Do I know anything about this time period historically? No. Do I read a lot of historical Korean manhwa, specifically like the isekai ones or the reborn, like went back in time after I died ones? Yes. And that is where I'm getting all of my information from. and the previous Otome games that I used to play all the time. I followed the line of identical posters around a corner and nearly hit my head on a precariously hanging wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters read, "The Wet Wick." The facade of the building looks like it's seen better days, but I hear faint music and laughter coming from inside. Oh. Oceans. Oh, I like the way these drinks look. I like really cool bottles. I don't really care about the alcohol inside a lot of the time, but I like the bottle, so I get it. The inside of the bar is a far cry from the abandoned exterior. It's not even midday, yet most of the tables and booths are occupied by a loose assembly of people in matching green cloaks. What did I just click off? I'm no stranger to bars. Sometimes I wish I could take my boots to the local tavern for a change of scenery, but I much prefer quieter places. A cursory glance doesn't turn up anyone with a dagger-shaped earring. I'm about to head towards the counter when a chant arises from the center of the room. Show! 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 The remaining green cloaks abandon the bar and their booths to rush towards the center of the room in a sudden torrent. There's no time to move out of the way. I'm caught, swept along the ale stench current. Hey! Rhythmic oh, that was an abrupt cutoff. Oh. Did the track just restart? That's kind of funny. Rhythmic chanting drowns out my voice. I thrash, throwing out my elbows as the press of bodies grows heavier. My hip knocks into a table. I grip it, holding on tight to steady myself, but the crowd has stilled. The chanting stopped. A pair of gilded boots stride across the tabletop. Is this? Ah, I see the earring. Seriously, you dogs? Again? Scattered laughter and cheers rise from the audience. I drag my eyes upwards. Huh. A well-dressed man stands on the table in front of me, his broad shoulders framed by the thick lapels of a trench coat. I like his style. So far, I like all the guy's style. I really like... If we were allowed to like dress in any aesthetic free of judgment or whatever, especially if it's like age appropriate, I get certain things you should not wear in public just because children shouldn't be feasting their eyes upon that. But like if something like this type of era was like regular thing that people could dress as and not get weird looks or assume that you're going to some form of Ren Fair or TikTok cosplay, I would definitely be in this aesthetic pretty frequently. This really is the last time, all right? This time when he speaks, the audience falls silent, as though bewitched by his magnetic presence or rich, low voice. But nothing is as captivating as his smile. He beams at the crowd around him, a performer on his makeshift stage. Don't blink, or you'll miss it. He laughs, and the dagger-shaped earring dangling from his left ear catches the light in a flash of gold. It would seem I found Leander. He raises his hand above the audience and snaps. A flash of pale green light, real magic, no ordinary stage trick blinds me. Oh, that is blinding. As the brilliance ebbs, my gaze refocuses on the mage towering above me. He flicks his wrist and the magic spiraling around him coalesces. A delicate flower stem sprouts from between his pinched fingers. One by one, growing little lily petals spring forth, glowing lily petals. With a flourish, the mage presents the conjured flowers. The audience bursts into clapping and cheers. My mouth hangs open, and not just on account of the impressive performance. There is no incantation, no spell circle. Oh, okay, so she knows about magic, but she has to like follow the regular rules. So this guy's just different. Also, why does he look like Jason? As in Red Hood Jason from Batman. Y'all see it? I kind of see it. I've never seen something so beautiful and intricate conjured so effortlessly. Leander must be an incredibly gifted mage. No wonder Curis recommended him. Leander plucks the iridescent bouquet out of the air and turns in a slow circle, giving his audience a good look. Now, who could use some good luck? Me. Eager onlookers scoot closer to the table. Some reach for the lilies while others whistle and call out Leander's name. But his cool green eyes slide right over them, locking on me instead. How about you? This would never happen to me in real life, bro. I'm telling you, his eyes would have slid over me too. My chest tightens. Every person gathered turns to stare at me. My anxiety, I couldn't. Sure. I reach out, all too aware of the way my fingers tremble as I carefully take the flowers from him. There's no weight to them, only a faint warmth that radiates from the stems. As soon as the flowers leave Leander's hand, their light dims. They fade away in a shower of opalescent light. To my surprise, Leander laughs under his breath. That's the problem with flowers. They don't last long, but they leave an impression, right? Oh my god, I literally just did a science project over on flower sales. I'm not even a biology major. I'm tired of seeing flowers. He grins at me and I find myself smiling back. Yeah, you know, once you pluck a flower, you kill it, so you're ending its life soon. Sooner than you would think you would be. Leander steps off the table, dropping among the excited crowd with an audible clink. All right, bloodhounds, get back to your drink. Show's over. The green cloak dispersed at his command, returning to their tables and booths. This man is not getting any sleep. Look at his eyes. He's like Aizawa and Shinzo and Jason mixed together. Before I can make my way towards Leander, his eyes find me. He gives me a friendly wave, then beckons me over to the crowded counter. I manage to squeeze beside him, but there's so little room that his broad shoulder presses against mine. I tense, but he doesn't seem to mind at all. Is this your first time in Eridia? He says it lightly with the genuine air of curiosity. Do I stick out that much? No, but I'm certain I remember seeing a face as lovely as yours around Lowtown. Alright, he's flirty. My eyes flicker to the polished countertop. I'm not used to flattery, and being this close makes eye contact difficult. As if on cue, the bartender approaches me. What can I get you? Man, give me like 3 shots of something. I don't care what it is, just get it. Surprise me, and add anything my friend wants to my tab. I wasn't expecting the generosity, but I have to admit, I do feel a little thirsty after all that fried dough. You do not have nearly enough in your stomach? Well, it depends on what you drink. If she's a lightweight and passes out, I'm gonna be mad. I'll have what he's having. Just take some water. Water's fine. When the bartender leaves to fix our drinks, Leander leans his elbow on the counter. I'm close enough to notice the purple shadows under his lower lids. I noticed it, and I'm not that close. His eyes wander over me in return, but when they lock on my bandaged hands, a sour taste rises in my throat. Here comes the questions. So what brings you to the wick? Chris sent me. He pushes his hair back from his forehead, but it immediately falls right back into place. So it's about work. The bartender pushes a pair of glasses our way. I don't realize how thirsty I am until the cool water touches my lips. I drain the water in a single gulp. Leander takes a deep swig of his beer and lets out a satisfied breath. Yeah, I don't like beer. I've never tried beer. I don't like the taste of it, though. Well, I don't like the smell of it, is what I meant to say. What can I be of assistance? I need to get to the cenobium. Everyone hates this place. It must be like, I don't know. I feel like whoever runs the cenobium has to be like corrupt, possibly government backed. As soon as the word cenobium leaves my mouth, the entire bar falls silent. The entire bar? Yeah, I would have rather died in the bog, bro. I couldn't. Bloodhounds twist in their seats to gawk openly. Finally, an especially drunk one speaks up. The hell are you bringing up the cenobium in here? The hell are you in my business? What the? Come, relax. I'm new. I asked a question. Throw him out. This is bloodhound territory. Okay. The vitriol catches me off guard. From the angry looks thrown my way, it's clear I've broken some unspoken rule just by mentioning the cenobium. When I glance at Leander, he's drinking, as though he hasn't noticed the uproar. Only when he catches me looking does he lower his glass. For the love of... He drags a hand down his face. Hey, keep it down, will you? This is business. I tense, expecting an argument, but the outspoken bloodhounds silently return to their drinks. Only a handful continue to watch me warily. Sorry about them. The cenobium is a bit of a touchy subject in these parts. Mix in enough drinks and, well, you saw. How about we continue this outside? When I give him a terse nod, he pushes away from the bar counter. I follow Leander to an alleyway tucked behind the wet wick, where layers of frayed bloodhounds posters have been plastered to the walls. Seeing them side by side, the resemblance between Leander and his likeness on the poster is impressive. Curious didn't send you here for help with the cenobium, did he? From the look he gives me, he already knows the answer. I glance away. No, he didn't. He suggested I find an alternative. Yet here you are, asking about them anyway. What do you need the cenobium for? I don't want to tell him about my curse. The less people know about my capabilities, the better. Thankfully, Leander takes my reluctant silence as an answer. Well, I see you're already aware of the city's currency. Information's worth is weight in gold in here. Curious told you the truth. The cenobium's dangerous. You get on their bad side and they'll imprison you if you're lucky, or torture you if you're not. Okay, so I was right. They are a corrupt system. Torture? My teacher never described anything like that. The same teacher who tried to use you as an experiment? I wouldn't take her word for things, you know? But the cenobium is supposed to be a place of learning, a sanctuary. The cenobium has always been heralded as the last bastion of human knowledge, a shining beacon of hope in a world steeped in nightmares. If any place held answers, it would be the cenobium. That's why I came here. That's what they want you to think, but things that seem too good to be true are often just that. Such a simple statement, and yet it leaves me reeling. If it's true, then I staked everything on a lie. Then what now? Leander clears his throat. But as I always say, there's solutions to every problem and alternatives to every solution. That's a good saying. I like that one. He claps his hands and turns to me with a brilliant smile. That's why Curious pointed you to the bloodhounds. Let us help you. Whether it's hunting soulless, finding people, or recovering stolen valuables, we can do it all. And free of charge. Free of charge? Is the charge information? I'm shaking my head before he's even finished his practice speech. My patience is wearing dangerously thin. Why is your patience wearing dangerously thin? He barely even said anything. Listen, I appreciate the offer, but my problem can't be solved by a group of good Samaritans. To my Chargan, Leander nods slowly. Then your problem must be fairly serious. And if the cenobium's your first choice, you're searching for a magical solution, aren't you? Clearly. When my eyes widen, he nods along, as though he suspected all along. I'd be happy to help you out. That is, if you tell me what ails you. Leander might not work for the cenobium, but if his show was any indication, then he's even stronger than the mage who raised me. She couldn't do anything about my curse, but maybe. I'm silent, plagued by indecision. I don't know if I can trust him, but it's not like I have any alternatives. I hate to admit it, but this could be my only path forward. Yeah, I was about to say. My confession comes out in a pained whisper. I'm cursed. Cursed? Oh, now I'm very curious. What kind of curse? Something ancestral or more recent? He looks me up and down, taking in my face, my eyes, and finally my hands. It's your hands, isn't it? I wait until I'm certain my voice remains steady before answering. My touch is dangerous. It changes people, hurts them. Before I even finish, Leander begins taking his gloves off. He tugs his left hand and flexes his fingers. Let's see it. Hex no. He offers me his hand, and a prismatic flash of magic ripples across his palm, an enchantment for protection, but I'm already shrinking backwards. I can't. I don't care how confident Leander is. If I bring myself to hurt him to see his kind face twist into a mask of madness, believe me, this isn't an ordinary curse. I'll be fine. Perhaps where you're from, your affliction was strange and one of a kind. But spend a year in this city, you'll see thousands of curses and thrice as many cures. Do you really think Curious would send you here if I couldn't handle it? How should I know? I only met him today. Right. I'm as good as any mage in the cenobium. Better even. If they can help, so can I. You don't know what you're asking me. I'm asking you to trust me. I look from Leander's outstretched hand to his confident smile. Then, with a short breath, I began unwinding the bandages from my hand. Fine, but if you lose control, don't say I didn't warn you. Is he? You can tie me up first if it makes you feel better. I feel like tying you up would make you feel better. With each joint I expose, I grow more and more certain that this is a terrible idea. Ready when you are. If he's bothered by the way my hand looks, he doesn't show it. My fingers hover shakily over his palm. 3, 2, 1. Oh, he wanted it. Touch him. I tap his palm once, as quickly as possible. It's barely more than a brush, but that's all it ever takes. When I look at his face, expecting to see the worst, Leander only grins. See? It can't be. This time when I reach out to touch Leander's palm again, he catches my wrist before I can pull away. I told you, there's really nothing to worry about. He felt it, didn't he? Likes it, don't he? Oh, sir, we're in public. We're not, but have some decorum. He trails off when my thumb brushes the skin of his inner wrist. Please don't tell me he has a hand kink. I'd hate that. I search Leander's face for traces of madness, but his eyes remain clear, soft, and green. I thought they were blue. Okay. I'm not going to talk about my slight colorblindness today. Color rises in his cheeks, but he remains still except for the subtle bobbing of his throat. Unhand me, bro. What do you... Why are you getting... Relax. Neither of us speak as I trace the contours of Leander's palm, lost in awareness that I wasn't prepared for. It is the middle of the night. Why am I getting messages? Okay. I've been with other people, kissed them, embraced by them, and more, but not like this. So, is it that they can't touch your skin, like Rogue from X-Men style, or is it that they just can't touch your hands? Because how have you had all these experiences? I'm guessing it's just her hands specifically then, if nothing else is covered. Okay. My fingers, long deprived by years of bandages, pick up every single detail. The grooves of his palm, the smooth shell of his nails, the pulse of his heart. Yeah, I was thinking this. I was like, if you're never able to touch anyone. For as long as I've lived, I've never been able to hold someone's hand. Not without dire consequences. I've never realized what I was missing until this moment. Does it have to be hand to hand? Because the other person, his thumb brushed you and then he turned to madness. And this person, you're like focusing on his hand. So I guess it's if your hand touches someone else's hand. While Leander's pulse is steady, mine is hammering as fear gives way to excitement. Let him go. This is a stranger. He's way too into it too. I draw my hand back and take a steadying breath. My head feels as though it's stuffed with cotton. Habit alone guides me through the motions of rewrapping my hand, though my fingers tremble too much for the bandages to lie flat. I can't believe that worked. May I ask your name? Yeah, after y'all just had a moment. My name's Morgana. You were right to hide this from me, Morgana. This curse of yours is unlike anything I've ever dealt with. I can tell you're discreet, but you best not go showing that off to anyone else. Well, since you were so interested, I didn't plan on it. Are you staying in Lowtown? I paused. Room and board was something I hadn't yet considered. I don't know. Let's get you properly settled then. The Wet Wick is noticeably quieter. Without their leader, most of the bloodhounds have dispersed, or in few cases, fallen asleep beside their drinks. Got any rooms left, or did my lot grab them all to sleep it off? The bartender, who I now realize doubles as an innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter. You know I always keep the corner room open for your escapades. There will be no escapades, no adventures, none of that. Just acquaintanceship. But like legitimate acquaintanceship, not like escapades. None crazy. Leander's laugh sounds slightly strained. He's like, don't tell her. Don't tell her. I like my adventures. It's okay. I can tell. I didn't need the innkeeper to tell me that. And I always appreciate it, but you're mistaken. This is just for my friend Morgana. Sure. Stay as long as you like. You two have fun. God, please don't put a one-bed trope. Escapades, huh? Yeah. Leander clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. But I hesitate. My coin purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meals, let alone a room. How much do I owe you? Nothing. Bloodhound rates. My treat since you shared your secret. Food, drink, a warm bed, anything you need. Carefully, I take the key from him. It's small but weighs heavy in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Eridia, let alone free meals. Thank you. Go explore, Morgana. You'll find many roads in Eridia, each leading to different answers. But if you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me. Okay. Just be careful. I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it in the pocket of my cloak for safekeeping. Leander gives me one last friendly wave before I depart. The air clings sodden and heavy. Without the morning crowd, the sunless streets look barren and bleak. Even the peddlers are long gone. Only a pair of crows remains quibbling over stale crusts in a gutter. I feel a ridiculous pang of envy. At least they've got a reason to fight. I've never felt so lost. Curious and Leander both made it clear that Cenobium can't be trusted, but I came so far, endured so much. I need to see the Cenobium for myself, if only to satisfy my curiosity. I should have asked someone at the bar for directions before leaving. Just walk back inside. Or don't. What? I'm about to turn back when a shadow passes over me. A cloud, I think, until a puff of hot breath tickles the back of my neck. Back up! Who is this? Oh my god. The shadow runs down the street in rivulets. Formulous dark spreads like ink into blotted shapes. Claws stretch, a muzzle splits open to reveal a long, jagged teeth. A growl rumbles so low and deep I can feel it. I want to run, to scream, but I feel trapped, as though the slightest movement or single breath will snap my jaws around me shut. How do I know magic? I haven't fought back once. We've come across 2 enemies. I haven't heard no incantations. I need you to be on your Harry Potter stuff. I haven't heard any incantations. You don't have any like paper things on you? You ever seen the Owl House and Luz learns how to use magic by drawing papers and she just keeps them on her? You don't do that. Like, talking about I'm too scared to scream. I don't know, hit him with abracadabra or something. You don't know nothing? I know your teacher was like trying to use you and all that, but you had to learn something. No, I won't let it end like this. I'm going to die. I want to see what got me first. I steel myself, then turn. Is it the shadow vanishes as quickly as it came. I'm left standing in the middle of the street, alone except for a figure reclining in the shade of a nearby shop. Is it the wolf boy? There's a wolf boy. I was right, it's the wolf boy. I'm really not into like animal-esque creatures, but I like this one. I like his look. I'm assuming he's more of a fox than a wolf though. I don't know, I'm getting wolf actually. A monster. That much is clear from a glance. One could nearly be mistaken for human if it were not for the... Okay, hold up. One that could clearly be nearly be mistaken for human were it not for the tufted ears, a tail curled around his ankle. What's with the chains? Or the dusk pink eyes with pupils that sharpen like needles when they fall on me. Our gazes meet and the monster uncrosses his long legs. His hair gleams like a shade of red that reminds me unsettlingly of blood where it curls around his collared throat. Jumpy, aren't you? What accent did I just use? I don't have... Whatever. His tone is so light and carefree that I glance over my shoulder to make sure he's speaking to me. I do that sometimes too. When someone I don't really know is being like kind of nice and I don't know them, I like look, I'm checking to see if they're talking to somebody else, and then I look ridiculous because they're like, bro, I'm talking to you, and I'm like, oh, thank you. When I look back, the stranger props his chin on his knuckles and regards me with an inscrutable little smile. Didn't you see that shadow just now? It was massive, moved like a beast. Was it you, Shadow Boy? You got a shadow beast situation? Even as I speak, I'm aware of how ridiculous I must sound, but the stranger's smile doesn't falter. The only beasts I've seen here are the Wicks drooling regulars, though this did cross my eye. I knew it! I knew it! Earlier I was about to say her key is gonna get stolen. Is he have booty shorts on? What is that? With the flourish of his hand, my in-room key appears dangling from his finger. It turns on his chain, glittering when it catches the night. Is he a thief? Is he like a fox thief? My hands fly to my cloak's pocket, ensuring... Let me take a break. My hands fly to my cloak's pocket, and sure enough, find them flat. He crooks his finger, beckoning. I've already taken 2 steps forward before some stifled instinct stops me. Something feels wrong. I'm still on the edge. Is it not real? Is it a shadow? I'm still on the edge, thrumming with so much adrenaline that the stranger's shadow flickers at the edge of my vision. I'm always attracted... Whoa, is he like Shikamaru? If I step too close, will his shadow like leech onto me? I always attracted the worst kind of attention, but I can't get rattled now. Who said that's my key? Well, you already took 2 steps forward, so. He smiles wide enough to reveal pointed canines. I saw you drop it. You really should be more careful. City like this, somebody might take advantage. A bald-faced lie said without a hint of irony. I can't figure out how he picked my pockets under my nose, but I'm certain he took my key and I need it back. I figured it out. The shadow. Girl, critical thinking. I approach the man, careful to keep an arm's length away. He doesn't look dangerous, but the most deadly ones never do. Oh, his ear. The stranger's chain softly clinks with the tilt of his head. His ears flick. Keeping your distance? I'd be stupid to trust you. You think I stole your dinky little key from all the way over here? He gives an exaggerated sigh. I'm good with my hands, but not that good. Do I really look like a common thief to you? You look like the leader of thieves, bro. I have a question though. Are the chains like a stylistic choice, or are you metaphorically chained to another individual? I'm all for freedom. I'm good with my, yeah, I read that already. Yeah, absolutely no comment. Like, what do you say to that? He's got me there. He's got you where? No, he doesn't. The fabric of his sleeves alone would be too expensive for most street thieves. Hell, his shoes look like they cost more than I spent traveling here. Just because he's dressed nice now does not mean that he doesn't have that type of knowledge. Oh, she's naive. I should have chose the rogue one. I didn't realize that, I don't know, being able to sense magic came with the price of being a little naive. Come on, girl. And then there's the shop behind him. No matter the city, parted pink curtains only ever mean one thing. I'm not looking to buy, and I doubt I could afford your services anyway. I said that earlier when we was on this same street. I said, is this the red light district? And I was right. Luckily for you, I don't charge. That's worse actually, you should. The man runs the tip of his tongue over a fang, and for the first time since I stepped into that shadow, I feel something other than dread. It better not be. I'm Arrow Ace and so are you. My face grows hot. No! No, stand up! Stand up! Your face grows hot for him and not Kura? That's insane. That's not what I meant. I want to save right here. Can I save? Nice. Oh, it's like a picture. Okay. I'm flattered, really. Where my... Where... I wasn't expecting him to be the flirty one. I thought it'd be the musician. I'm flattered, really. Where sex my trade, I might make an exception for you. How about half off for a handy? Wait, for me to give you one? Because I don't have one of them. Or you could just hand over my key. Girl, you're losing. You're losing. Ask nicely and I might even let you tug my tail. Why have the past 2 people we've come across been a little degenerate? Why? Just throw it here. So some spindly little street urchin can snatch it and run? He raises my key and tilts his head so he can watch it dangle back and forth. I suppose I could just claim your room for myself. Not that I'd be caught dead slumming in the wick with the rest of those slack-jawed imbeciles. Well then, you're obviously not from around here, so tell me, traveler. What misfortune brought you to this wretched place? His voice practically drips with derision. I'm not telling you anything. What could possibly have drawn you to this dreary little pig pen, I wonder? He listlessly watches the arc of my key swinging around his fingers. The weather's shit, the food's dreck, and there's entirely too many monsters for any human to feel safe, unless... Dagger-sharp eyes flick towards me. They gleam with amusement. Unless you're just dying to consort with monsters. Is he, half monster? Is that why he's, is that why he's like... Oh, you just wanna bed one, huh? By now, my embarrassment has worn away, leaving simmering impatience in its place. If this is a shakedown, this is the most frustrating one I've ever heard of. She has terrible patience. Turn him down, flirt back. Realistically, I can't flirt, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. In a situation like this, if he asked me to flirt to save my life, I'm dying. I can't. Turn him down. Are you done, or did you plan on flirting with me until the night falls? He touches his chest in mock affront. You wound me. How can you be so immune to my charms? You're about as charming as an ox and half as subtle. I suggest you go practice your seduction on someone interested. That earns me a burst of breathy laughter. How about you teach me the ropes, show me a thing or two, show you how to not be flirty? The more he flirts, the more convinced I become that this is some kind of trap. No matter how innocent monsters look, they always have tricks up their sleeves. Not just monsters, you literally just... I don't know, we should go... I was gonna say go check up on the guy we just talked to, Reagan? Whatever his name is. But I think he needs some private time after our moment. And something tells me that this one's more dangerous than he lets on, even if he has a lovely laugh. Does it have anything to do with the shadow monster he just had at the back of our neck 10 minutes ago, or are you just gonna keep acting like you don't put two and two together? I don't know what you want or why you're messing with me. But I'm not coming any closer until I know you aren't going to attack or bite. That feels racist. Relax. I won't bite hard unless you beg me. Okay. No matter what I say, he finds a way to twist my words into an innuendo. Yeah, it's not hard to do, to be honest. You make it so easy. I will say, Morgana, you're not good at this. Even when I'm silent, he goes on as though we're having a conversation, not a standoff. Do you like dancing? There's a traveling troupe performing in Hightown tonight. Their ludus is utterly exquisite, truly a performance to die for. There's life in this dreadful place, if you know where to look. You sound like you know the city well. The man's gaze flickers from me to the key dangling from his finger. Naturally, this dump was a little more than a miserable little smear when I first arrived. Hightown, Lowtown, I know Eridia like the back of my hand. Okay, so he's not half human. I guess monsters just have human-esque forms sometimes? Question mark? So he was here when Eridia, he's old, basically. What about the cenobium? Do you know where that is? Everyone hates this word. Stop telling people this in Lowtown. His smile vanishes. Surely you've seen it, that absurdly large tower looming over the rest. It's a little hard to miss. He must mean that spire I noticed when I first caught sight of Eridia. The cenobium's overrated, forget about it. I can show you things little stuffy boars in their Olympic tower couldn't even dream of. Have already got plans. Oh? Have you some pressing matters at the cenobium? Lunch dates with librarians? Tea time with the most esteemed abbess? That's my business. What's it matter to you? I square my shoulders and the amusement bleeds out of him. Your loss. The stranger, finally bored of this tedious game, extends his hand towards me. The key rests on his palm, neatly dividing skin and leather. When he makes no other move, I reach for the key, but as soon as my fingers graze smooth brass, his hand springs shut around my elbow. Hey! Alright, back up, bro. He yanks me down and I stagger, my soul slipping on the steps. For a sick moment, I fear my bandages will unravel under his touch, but he's careful not to disturb him, even as his fingers dig into my arm. Oh, his pupils are gone. I knew I smelled blood. The reek of death and the road. I reek of the road? Like stone? Death I get. And that fucking doctor. He's kind of funny. His voice, once silken, lowers to a smoky growl. The shadows around him seethe and boil as he pulls me closer. And something else. He murmurs against my throat, nose grazing my jaw. Okay, personal space. Back up. Let go. You have hands, swing them. Apparently, you don't know any magical spells. Start swinging. I should have chose a rogue. I need more street smarts. I try to twist away, but he doesn't budge. His breath trails down my neck, sending a thrill of dread through me. But just when I fear he'll bite, he takes a deep whiff instead. His eyes wide. His wide, flat eyes gleam with naked hunger as he gazes up at me. Not quite human, not quite monster. Seems we're both. Veer! Oh, okay. So I was right the first time. He's somewhere between a human and a monster. The stranger's ears flatten and he releases me with a short breath. I yank my arm back, massaging it where his grip left grooves in the bandages. The stranger twists around to watch a woman duck from the curtains behind him. Her Cenobium uniform is nearly identical to the one my mentor kept tucked away in her closet. Oh, okay, that's why her mentor. Okay. I'll leave you for all, what, 10 minutes and you're making trouble again? Will you quit harassing the tourists? The stranger, Veer, I take it, rolls his eyes and flashes the cleric with a withering smile. So suspicious. Can't you see this is a friend of mine? A natural liar. He grins at me and his tail wishes minutely. The woman purses her lips at me, clearly unconvinced. I open my mouth to correct him, but Veer cuts in. I was graciously offering my dear friend some free advice. Though his voice remains light and cheerful, his expression darkens. Danger is drawn to you like a moth to flame and will find you given time. Yeah, you, bro? The woman clucks her tongue as though she's heard this recital 102 times. Word of advice? Don't take free advice from lazy foxes lounging in the streets. I knew he was a fox. This crook would sell water to a drowning man for the sheer enjoyment of it. Yeah, he probably would. He shrugs off with a wilting look from Veer. Oh, please. Any friend of yours knows it's true. Now hold still. Veer rises gracefully at her approach. He pushes his hair aside so it drapes over one shoulder, exposing the long line of his neck. And suddenly it dawns on me that the jingling I heard earlier wasn't coming from the harness attached to his collar, but a leash. Yeah, I was like, he's chained, right? A heavy iron chain wound around the hitching post and padlocked to the back of his collar. Veer posed deliberately to hide his leash from me. The woman produces a keyring from her pocket. She rifles through a dozen identical keys before selecting one and sliding it into the lock. Come on, unless your friend's tagging along on our merry little soulless hunt. They're hunting for soulless inside of the city? Words momentarily fail me. The woman regards me with a polite, if tight, smile before marching down the stairs. Veer lingers. He stretches his arms over his head with a yawn, and I try not to stare at the way his stomach flattens when he arches his back. Okay. It's easy not to stare at that, actually. Your little secret's safe with me. Try not to get yourself killed, So he can smell the curse and he knows that, like, it's bad. I don't think he knows exactly what it is, though. Okay. We met Veer. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. I did not mean to do that. I was on a different screen, but it rewinded. Trying to get yourself killed, Veer hops off the stoop and bounds after the woman. His tail sways merrily as though he hasn't just lied and threatened me. Did you try that thing I mentioned? The Loventian knot? That's the one where you take 3 fingers and... Actually, don't tell me. Knowing you is disgusting. Veer's airy laughter echoes down the road. It's only after he and the cleric have vanished from sight that I realize I'm still missing something. Yeah, girl, you never got your key back. Also, he's joking with her and she's kind of joking back, but she had him tied up outside like a dog. Wait! Reflectively, I shove my hands in my pocket and find it, the room key. I pull it out of my pocket and raise it to the light just to be sure. A nagging feeling distracts from my relief. I don't know what Veer's game was or what he wanted from me. All I know for certain is that the Cenobium saw fit to leash him, a fate I could share, if that's what his vague warning meant. I let my eyes drift skyward, past the lanterns gently swaying in the breeze, to the Cenobium faintly visible through the haze. Just one glimpse is all I need, then I could put this all behind me. This time, the key goes in my coin purse for safekeeping. Sure. It's easy enough to follow the sluggish river that splits Eridia in two. A colossal bridge arches over the dark water below. I cross as quickly as I can, climbing ever uphill towards the distant tower. Alright, we've made it. Hours later, legs aching, sweat beading my forehead, I finally found what I was searching for. The Cenobium of the Luminous Void. What a name. It stands at the highest point of Eridia, surrounded by cold white tiles. Well-dressed people stroll the walkways, paying no attention to the massive tower in their midst. I'm the only one standing before the gates. I crane my neck up and up until the top of the Cenobium tower disappears into the clouds overhead. The gates are so heavily enchanted that even standing near them sets my teeth on edge. Alchemically reinforced locks, invisible sigils of alarm, and who knows what else. My voice is gone for some reason. Knocking seems like a terrible idea, but I don't see any other way of making my presence known. I'm halfway up the steps when something moves in my peripheral vision. Oh, it's this guy. A shadowy figure crouches beneath one of the white walls that reach out and tug on a vine as if testing its strength. Oi, you there! The shadow vanishes as quickly as I spotted it, and a gaunt-faced man in a crisp charcoal uniform marches up the steps towards me. Ugh, another tourist. Get out of here once you're done gawking. A dismissive wave accompanies his equally dismissive words, and he turns on his heel without even waiting for an answer from me. I look back at where I saw the intruder, but there's nothing. Just the leaves blowing gently in the cool breeze. I step away from the gates, hopelessness washing over me. Hello. A whisper so close I can feel the warm brush of breath on my skin. I instinctively jerk away, but there's no one beside me. Halfway down the staircase, I spot a woman swaying in the breeze. She's gaunt as a rail, her blouse moth-eaten. I'm unable to take my eyes off of her. Not because of the way she smiles a little too widely or the way her tousled braids look unbrushed for days, but because her eyes shine a vibrant, unnatural crimson. I'm both entranced and unsettled by their subtle glow. Is this a vampire? These days, you need a miracle to get in there. I'm unsure how to respond, or even if I should. Say nothing. After the experience I've just had, I'm not too keen on indulging strangers with small talk. Despite my silence, she maintains her unflinching stare and smile. Luckily for you, I have miracles for free. Whatever she's selling, I'm not interested. My words come out in a tired breath. No thanks. I start down the stairs, but she abruptly steps into my path. She turns her back to me, and before I can react, she slips her fingers under the lacing of her collar, stripping out of her blouse in broad daylight. But what are you... As worn fabric unveils bare skin, my panic is smothered by cold horror. A misshapen, sunken scar carves into the woman's body. Pitted, gnarled skin snakes down her shoulders, blooming from a gaping hole in the back of her neck. A shuddering breath escapes me. The fuck? By the looks of it, the disease that afflicted this woman ate away at her spine, leaving her with a hollowed vertebrae at the back of her neck. Oh. How is she able to move or breathe? It's impossible. She shouldn't be alive, and yet... The power to cure anything can be yours too. The power of Sea Spring. Oh, this is a cultist. The woman slides back into her blouse and deftly laces it up. If I've caught your interest, then follow me. It's only a short walk away. Without another glance, she leisurely strolls down the Cenobium stairs, loose braids bobbing behind her. The edge of her scar peeks out from under her collar. I stand there, wordless, until I manage to regain my bearings. It's a twisted miracle, but a miracle nonetheless. This could be the stupidest decision of my life, but what choice do I have? I take a final look at the Cenobium's shut gates and follow her down the steps. Okay, I thought I had a choice and I was not going to do that actually. We descend from the higher streets, leaving behind their gilded decadence as we cross the river. The wet, derelict districts feel more familiar to me. But the crimson-eyed woman takes me farther, then farther still until I'm met with an all-too-familiar sight. Oh yeah, that's where I almost died. My gut lurches when I face the open horizon. The city's outskirts are hardly recognizable in daylight and probably safer for it, but venturing beyond Eridia's wall is a gamble I wasn't prepared to take so soon. Yeah, it's day one, girl. Keep going straight and the sea spring will reveal itself to you. Is the sea spring a monster, bro? Did the sea spring, is it a monster that can like zombify people and lure people to it? I bark out a bitter laugh, loud and involuntary. I'd rather not. Are you kidding? It's not safe out there. You're as safe inside the city as outside it. Truthfully, the territory before you is the safest of all. What do you mean, territory? This region belongs to Ice. Most people know him as a gang leader, but he's much more than that. Oh, this is the red-eyed guy. I squint against the empty wastelands. Only a fool or someone with nothing to lose would leave the city. Apparently I'm both. Apparently so. But if this sea spring cured her, I need to see what it can do for me. Well, I think a curse is different than a diseased spine? Question mark? I set off into the waste. Over my shoulder, the woman calls after me. Good luck, Morgana. I hope we meet again. Come with me, bro. You're leading me. What type of guide are you? My heart pounds with each step I take from civilization. For what seems like an eternity, I force each foot forward, one step then another, until a realization hits me. I never told the woman my name. Oh crap, I didn't realize that either. I thought maybe y'all like talked on the way or something. Okay. Something pierces the horizon ahead of me. A building nestled into a tall cliffside, but so starkly out of place it might as well be a hallucination. It drips with extravagance and honeyed mahogany, an ornate jewel of architecture. A row of dark silhouettes stand out on the horizon. Trees, I think, until I'm close enough to realize that what I mistook for branches were spikes and jutting tendrils. Soulless, several of them watched me in the distance like statues. I don't think I just run. Exploding into a messy sprint, I push my legs as fast as they'll take me towards that decorated building. No, for real. Flashes of last night chase me. The gushes of blood and screams of death. The smell of burning flesh and sour bile. I can't go through that again. I won't. The next thing I know, I'm dashing up wooden stairs and crashing through towering double doors. I gasp for air, my lungs burning from exertion. I'm desperate to be safe, but when I process my surroundings, it's more hellscape than sanctuary. Blood flows all around me, overwhelming my vision with lurid, unholy red. Instinctively, my hand leaps to my mouth, but the rotten stench of blood never comes. Instead, a smoky scent hangs in the air, sharp and spiced. I swallow thickly, convincing myself it's not as gruesome as it appears. This has to be the sea spring, the place that grants miracles. Pulling my eyes away from the pool, I take in the rest of my environment. Tall pillars flank me, blanketed in written notes, seating pillows scattered across the floor. A rusted kettle sits nearby. Somebody must live here despite how eerily empty it is. Stay silent. I approach the paper-covered pillars. Maybe there's something here that can tell me more. I reach for... the topmost. I reach for the note that's higher up. It reads, "No one will read this, but it's not for anyone else. This is evidence that I existed in this rotten, grim world. Even so, I wish I could have stayed longer. The ball girl will be lonely without me. I should have told her how The rest is scratched out. I wonder who wrote this. Ball girl?" Before I can ponder it further, a sharp chill runs down my spine. Something's watching me. Or someone. I quickly set the note back, my eyes darting around the wooden deck, but it's still empty, vacant. Finally, I look towards the sea spring. That stillness hides something deeper, something wrong. Hey. I spin around and come face to face with a pack of soulless. They chitter and growl, tendrils and spikes flaring threateningly, all different sizes and species but sharing the same identical trait, glowing crimson eyes. I try to back away, but my heel teeters over the C-spring. I'm cornered. Watch your step, it's deeper than it looks. That voice again, the sound of it, the soulless freeze, their snarls quieting. Is he above us? I search for the voice's source and I find it up above me, yeah, lounging in the rafters. Oh, it is this red-haired guy. I thought he would be like nobility or something. I didn't expect him to be roguelike. I like it. You look lost, little sparrow. His gaze is a violent crimson, one that sears through me, leaves me feeling raw and exposed. They're the same eyes I've seen over and over, first with the scarred woman, now with the soulless circling me, all bound by the C-spring's blood red, so he's controlling them. In the shroud of darkness behind me, shapes like massive tentacles twist and coil around the wooden beams. I can't focus. The soulless's growls ring in my ears. They're not advancing, but that could change at any second. Panic rises in my throat as I struggle to track them. Hey! What? Eyes on me. Okay. My stomach rolls as I tear my eyes from the soulless. Don't ignore someone who's talking to you. It's not polite. Okay. I like his dialogue. He's becoming one of my favorites. He's up there with Kura. I'm not really into the overly flirty ones. Like, I've said this multiple times. The fox guy, I did kind of like. If he caught me in a different mood, like a more playful mood, I'd be like, okay, sure. For a moment, anger knocks my fear aside. Who is this bastard? I'm distracted, or fuck you. There's a lot going on down here. I'm kind of distracted by the soulless about to maul me. Only on my command. I scan the soulless again. They really aren't attacking, posturing more than anything else. I figured he was controlling them. You tamed them? Power of the C-spring. They're hungry, so they might bite. You should give me a reason to stop them. How about I didn't do anything wrong? Trespassing? And that's punishable by death? He gives a non-committal shrug. Expecting mercy was your first mistake. My voice stops in my throat. This man's terse coolness is both infuriating and terrifying. I rack my brain for a way to defuse the situation. I need help. Okay, fine. I need help. I thought the C-spring would cure me somehow. My voice wavers pathetically. Honestly, honesty has never been my strong suit. He cants his head to the side, appraising me, but doesn't respond. I fidget nervously. I'm telling you, I came here for help. Are you listening? Your hands. Alarm jolts through me. I hide my hands under my cloak. Show me. Why? Won't ask twice. With a sharp huff, I reluctantly hold out my bandaged hands. Are you getting off on this? You should have asked the last guy that. Or the guy before, actually. Unwrap them. What's with the hand kinks in this game? Heat rushes to my face and fire to my tongue. I should give him a piece of my mind, but not when his soulless are on command, or one command away from ripping me to shreds. Yet, no matter how much I will myself to move, my body is frozen in place. I stand there for a long, agonizing minute. My hands are trembling when I finally raise them. I know the skin beneath the wrappings all too well. The hideous, unnatural flesh I've grown to despise. I grip the edge of the bandages. Stop. With a weary sigh, the man slides off the beam and lands with a thud that shakes the panels underfoot. He's a monster, with an imposing figure that towers over me. I couldn't tell how tall he was before, but he's big. Illuminated by the lantern light, his features are stronger, sharper. Subtle clinks of metal accompany each of his footsteps. The closer he gets to me, the faster my heart hitches. What does he want? Is he gonna kill me? I step backwards and find nothing else to set my foot on. I'd forgotten my back was to the spring. I fall, right before a warm hand catches my lower back. Oh God, girl. I'm hovering above the sea spring, the scent of smoke and leather enveloping me. Blazing crimson eyes bore into mine. Told you to watch your step. I'm too stunned to muster a response. Like I weigh nothing, he guides me back to the solid ground and steps back. Following a subtle gesture from his fingers, the soulless around us disperse and relax. The shift in their demeanor is so abrupt it gives me whiplash. The enormous tentacles are no longer in the rafters, though now I doubt I ever saw them at all. Either way, I exhale a breath of relief. Thanks. As focused on me as he was before, the monster pays no attention to me now. He kicks some seating pillows out the walkways, checks the contents of the kettle with a scowl. The sudden disregard is almost insulting. So that's it? I'm not a threat anymore? Never were one. Yeah, I'm about to say, Adam. We ran in here for safety. Then why'd you threaten me? People get honest when they're afraid. In other words, he was messing with me. I figured. He didn't seem pretty serious about it. And drag a hand over my face, exhausted by the fact this is the second time a monster has provoked me today. Okay, it's leaning on racism. I get it. No, the monsters, they kill people, blah, blah, blah. But like, come on now. I know you've only ever met two. You're ice, aren't you? Depends who's asking. One of your friends told me this is your territory. She also said you were a gang leader. But there's no one else here. I thought there'd be more people. Ice picks up the kettle and walks to the edge of Sea Spring, then dumps out the contents into the endless red. Gang took a walk. His pleasant smile stretches across his face ear to ear. A walk to heaven, bro? Are they dead? Then in an instant, it drops. I get the sense that I shouldn't ask about his gang again. You said you came here for help. Depends. Can the Sea Spring cure a curse? Probably. You mean you don't know? Nope. He shakes out the empty kettle and starts collecting stray cups, tidying up. My frustration builds. I narrow my eyes at him to questioning glare. When he notices, he returns it with an amused smirk. Are you being irritating on purpose? Listen, Sparrow. The Sea Spring can cure anything. Nothing's stopping you from trying it yourself. What do I have to do? Drink? What'd you just pour into it? I have to drink from the Sea Spring? My eyes glide to the blood-like pool beside us. The idea of ingesting the strange liquid makes my guts churn. Yeah, what is this? It's not as if I'm averse to elixirs or decoctions? Decoctions? I don't know. I made my fair share of them, but one misstep, you can easily meet a fate worse than death. Yeah? Is there a price? Always. Ice taps his temple with a finger. You lose it a little bit. Well, I never had it to begin with, so... That's it? Might have already beat it to the bone. She made the same joke that I did. It's too late. My humor earns me an amused, feigned grin. This is a little different. When you drink from the Sea Spring, you forget who you are. Your mind combines with everyone who's ever drank before. Humans, monsters, soulless. One big happy family in your head. My blood runs cold. I've never heard of these before. Group minds. Oh, I have heard of these before. My bad. Some legends suggest that independent minds can be physically linked together through a strong enough catalyst. It's never been done before. But something tells me this is real, even if one thing doesn't add up. Your eyes are red too, but you obviously haven't forgotten who you are. Before I can finish my sentence, Ice strides past me towards the entrance. Time's up. Let's finish this later. Wait, already? You barely told me anything. Came on a bad day. I got somewhere to be. There's still so many questions burning on the tip of my tongue, but my frustration spills out before any of them. No, I think he doesn't remember anything. I think he just came out stronger than all of them and able to like think cognitively, so he ended up kind of being the leader of the red-eyed people, but I don't think he actually remembers who he is. That's my theory. I was told to come here for help, but instead I get threatened and kicked out. You're joking, right? Watch your tone. I'm nice, but you don't want to ruin the host's mood. My skin prickles. The feeling of being watched washes over me again. My eyes dart back to the Sea Spring. A lone ripple dances on the quiet surface. I take Ice's advice and clamp my mouth shut. Yeah, girl. Ice approaches a nearby soulless, a lanky dog-like one with 6 legs and a crown of tendrils. Several sets of crimson eyes adorn its sides. Its forked tail wags rapidly when Ice squats beside it. He runs his fingers through the tendrils, scratches his chin, and pats his head. A gentle smile plays across Ice's lips. The affection he holds for the soulless is painfully clear. I dip my eyes away, my stomach fluttering at the tender sight. That girl, how are you this easily? God. It's getting dark out, so this pretty girl will guide you back. Will this get me murdered, bro? Following a short whistle from Ice's lips, it trots over to the entrance obediently, tail swaying. I watch the soulless warily. Pretty is not a word I would use to describe it, and the idea of it protecting me sounds absurd. If I decide to drink, how should I find you? Find someone with eyes like mine. They'll point you in the right direction. But think it over. Once you drink, you can't go back. Okay. It's a lot to process, but I give a small nod. At least I know I have another option for a cure, as disturbing as it may be. I follow the soulless at a measured distance and watch it nudge the giant doors open with ease. When I'm about to cross the threshold, I sneak one last glance behind me. My heart skips when I meet Ice's eyes. I'm about to snap my head away, but he just flashes an easy smile. Till next time, Sparrow. I'll buy you a drink for scaring you. I don't trust myself to do anything but respond with another curt nod. Outside, more crimson-eyed soulless scuttle about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, roll around in the bog's mud. They pay no attention to me as the dog-like one escorts me away. It's an uneventful trip. Sometimes the soulless looks over his shoulder at me to make sure I'm still following. Dusk darkens the sky by the time we reach the city. The soulless sits and looks at me expectantly with familiar crimson eyes. Might as well pet it. As nervous as I am, I carefully glide my fingers through the soulless's tendrils and scratch beneath its chin, just like Ice had. It pushes into my palm in response, rumbling with a sound akin to a purr. The vibrations are soothing, almost healing my fatigue. When it's satisfied, the soulless spins around and scampers back in the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. It's barely my first day in Eridia, and I've already encountered so many things I thought were possible, tamed soulless being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. Nightfall creeps across the streets of Eridia. The city, labyrinthine, even in daytime, I've never heard that word before, has become a warren of treacherous alleyways. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city abandoned. I make my way through the winding streets, doing my best to keep my bearing towards the wet wick. Wow. Oh god. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I strain my ears, but everything is still. I think I'm just really hungry. I think I just need to eat. I'm losing it. Is the silence playing tricks on me? Something's wrong. The fine hairs on the back of my neck prickle, a frisson of discomfort running down my spine. Something is wrong. My eyes dart from one side of the street to the other, searching for movement, but the shadows are as deep and dark as pools of ink, and I see nothing. I can't stay here. I need to reach a busier part of the city. Drawing my cloak tighter around my body, I hurry on my way. Though I keep my eyes sharp and listen intently, there's only the sound of my own footsteps. As the moments pass and nothing happens, I begin to wonder, maybe I did imagine that noise. No, never doubt yourself. I turn the next corner and my thoughts come to a screaming halt. My head spins, the world blurring as adrenaline rushes through my veins. Only one thing is clear amidst the haze. The soulless that attacked the caravan. The exact one? Is it specifically after you? Me? Us? Me. It's crouched over a dark, indistinct shape, a body. Oh lord. A garland of intestines spill from pallid flesh. Blood grouts the cobblestones. For mercy, the soulless is too distracted by its meal to have noticed me. My feet feel as heavy as stones, but I can't just stand there. Holding my breath, I take a step backwards. When the wet slurping sounds don't abate, I take another, then another. Then a shard of glass crunches under my heel. Okay, you ain't step on nothing when you walked up to it, but you want to step on everything on the way out. The world seemed to slow to a crawl as the soulless raises its head, blood dripping from its tendrils. Every single one of its sulphurous, bulging eyes fixed unblinkingly at me. It's really here. It's come back for me. Yeah, you didn't even give me this option. Go. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkened streets. Behind me, a piercing bass splits the silence, and heavy footfalls pound after me. My heart thunders in my chest. I take turns at random, trying to lose it in the maze of streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing now, a wet, fluttering rasp, growing closer and closer. The same claws that severed my arm swipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and skid around a corner. I take 3 running strides before the bottom drops out of my stomach. The what drops out? A wall twice as hard as my... Oh, okay. I was like, did you get hit? A wall twice as high as me bars my way, a dead end. When I turn around, the soulless looms in the entry to the alley. It's no longer running, it doesn't have to. As it prowls closer, my thoughts race. Some of the buildings lining the streets are lit. There must be people inside it. It's a long shot, but... I don't think screaming for help is gonna do anything. Open the door. I whirl, grabbing at the handle of the closest door. It turns completely, the hinges creaking as I push, and I feel a flash of hope before a weight hits the door from the other side and it slams shut. You know what? I don't blame the person on the other side, because I wouldn't either. I'm not a hero. And, you know, I try my best. If the soulless was a little further out, maybe. But one, I don't know you, and this is not the type of city to make friends. But if the soulless might get you before you even step inside the door. And it's not coming in here, so the door is staying locked. The click of the lock turning is grimly final. I need to eat. In this wretched world, few people will stick their neck out to help their own flesh and blood, never mind a stranger. Okay. But then when the soulless tore down my door and murdered me and my family, then what? I'm just saying, like, I see both sides, and I feel like under certain other circumstances, he would have been helped more. Like, if you were being mugged, okay, like, I can save you from this person mugging you, no problem. But a soulless? If you, as a mage, can't do anything about it, what makes you think I, a bakery owner, is gonna do anything either? The soulless gives a rasping hiss. It's the only warning I get before it lunges at me with a flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slick cobblestones betray me. I fall, sprawling over the rough stone. As the soulless looms over me, I scramble away from it until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me for the kill. But the impact never comes. I was like, we're not dying. I wearily crack one eye open, and the other not sure what I should believe what I'm seeing. A hooded figure crouches in front of me, one blood-stained hand outstretched. Oh, it's this guy. Oh, he's cool. Moonlight silvers the edge of the stiletto knife. Their face and hands are splattered with blood, and the soulless. My eyes dart past my unexpected rescuer to the misshapen form behind me. The soulless's many eyes, once restless and vibrant, now look dull and waxy. A red pool spreads slowly under its body. Numb with shock, I can't help but stare. It's dead. After all the people it's killed, after nearly killing me twice, I can hardly believe it. Well? I gingerly take the offered hand. The stranger's gaze dips to my bandages, pale lips part, on the brink of a question, then closes again. With a strength belying their slight frame, they pull me to my feet. As soon as I'm on my own 2 feet again, they pull away from me and start wiping the blood from their face and hands. Stay there. They turn away from me stiffly, leaning over the soulless's gangly body. With their back towards me, I realized I saw their hooded silhouette at the cenobium. Yep. You're sure? I was about to say, okay, I was about to say he seemed pretty short, but I was reading. But I was like, he seems like a short guy, which is cool. Short guys are fine. I'm not, you know, some people are like, oh, my man gotta be this height. I really don't care. I'm not, like, of all the things for me to be worried about, height is like near the bottom. You're at the cenobium, you saved me. You're at the cenobium. I've seen you before. You were at the cenobium earlier, weren't you? They cast a wary look at me. So what if I was? Their harsh response takes me back. Before I can formulate a response, they continue. What were you thinking, traveling alone at night? This is far from the worst thing haunting Lowtown. That's what I was thinking that too. I was like, also, does the city not have gates? How'd the soulless get in? I can't make heads or tails of them. First they saved me and now they scold me. This person uses they, them pronouns? Question mark? Lesson learned. I could do without the lecture though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. Their attention glides back to the soulless's corpse. They examine it with an inscrutable expression. I clear my throat to fill the silence. I'm Morgana. Min. Suddenly, Min tenses, their blade flashes and they drive into the base of the soulless's skull, right between the cervical vertebrae. The soulless thrashes once, letting out a rattling hiss as the air leaves its lungs. Min leans on the blade, driving it deeper and deeper until there's a sickening crunch and the creature goes limp. My heart thuds in my chest. It must have been clinging to life by a thread. Min straightens up, withdrawing their blade in a single smooth motion. Better to put wretched things like this out of their misery. They calmly clean the blood from their knife. They struck with cervical precision. Their quick, clean movements are familiar. Are you a scientist? Oh, and we know this because of our backstory, we can recognize. Okay. Are you a scientist? Min stops mid-motion, lifting their head to stare at me. You know exactly where to strike. Have you studied anatomy or medicine? Not quite. Oh, is this a trained assassin? Why is a soulless inside the city? Min looks at me, eyes searching before realization dawns. You're new here. There's no walls around the city. Soulless can come and go as they please until someone is contracted to stop them. Okay, so that answered my question about whether or not there were gates around the city, and the answer is no, which is stupid. But I'm guessing only the people in the lower areas are affected? Question mark? The cenobium's patrol don't bother to protect Lowtown, not anymore. Okay, that's literally what I just said as well. I guess I just stop talking and just listen to Min. Let me guess, you're not a fan of the cenobium. I wouldn't go that far. Their brow abruptly furrows and they sheath their knives, motioning for me to follow them. It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death. I'm not quite sure what they mean, but I don't want to stay lost in this city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, then why are you helping me? I came for the bounty on that soulless, and you were in the way. Not killing you isn't the same as helping you. Don't count on being so lucky again or you'll be dead by sunrise. Their answer is stingingly harsh, but it's true. We should not have... I know, like, we didn't really... I don't know. We need to manage our time better is what I'm saying. You know what? Fine. I just need to find my lodgings. That's all I need. I hold my hands up, trying to forestall any more snippy comments. Alright, I get it. I'd love to get out of your way, but I'm sort of lost. I just need directions back to my lodgings. What makes you think I'll help you? Nothing, but there's no harm in asking. That seems to catch them off guard. Their brows knit and they look away scowling. How troublesome. Morgana? Oh, is this... I don't know. I don't know who I'm gonna go for, y'all. Or do we even have a choice? I turn, surprised by the voice. Kuras walks down the street towards me. His white and gold clothing is pristine despite the grime of the city. Hello, Min. I see that soulless was your work. Min shrugs. There's familiarity to the way they regard each other. Okay, so these two... Did Min used to work for Kuras? I didn't know you had friends, Min. We don't know them enough to say that to them. You know them, Kuras? Min is a freelancer who has done a few errands for me. They're quite reliable. Unreliable freelancers don't eat. A freelancer who wields a dagger like a scalpel? There must be something more to that story. I figured. Morgana needs to get back to wherever she's staying before she wanders into the jaws of another soulless. It is late. Were you able to find a place to stay, Morgana? I'm staying at the Wet Wick. Both of their faces fall. I see. Would you like a guide? It might be preferable to wandering about alleyways. That would be nice. Min clicks their tongue and sighs, sounding mightily put out. Going to the Amaryllis district, that gaudy cesspit? Come, this way. Despite Min's clear distaste, when Curious leads me down the street, they keep pace with us. Catching my curious glance, Min's eyes narrow. It's not safe this late. I don't care about you, but Curious is the only doctor worth a damn in this place. How are you like this with everyone? The deadpan look Min gives me is answer enough. I catch Curious hiding a slight smile, as I press a sigh and resign myself to having a grumpy shadow all the way back to the Wet Wick. The route Curious takes is completely different from my slow meandering earlier this morning. In no time at all, he cuts through the darkened streets and twisting alleys. Lovely. It seems like half a city is poured into the Amaryllis district's colorful streets. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music assault my ears from every direction. Yet the most noise still comes from the Wet Wick. His doors hang wide open, lanterns lit. Here we are. He moves towards the door and Min lets out an audible huff. Don't tell me you're going in. I have some quick business with Leander, that's his name. What was I calling him earlier? Ugh, fine. He still owes me for yesterday's work. They drag their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the tavern. As soon as the doors open, a wave of sticky sweat rolls over me. In the hours since I left, the Wick has grown suffocatingly crowded. Curious stands out, easily a head taller than most. Even so, I nearly lose sight of him in the sea of swarming bodies. Pardon me. The crowd parts as though answering his request. Curious glances over his shoulder at hello? Curious gets over at his shoulder and at me before gliding through. I'm so glad there's like a rewind button. How can anyone breathe in here? That's how I feel about like bars and parties too. Yes. I'm not really one for them. Min follows Curious at a clipped pace. Leander is right where I left him, although he's traded places with the bartender. He holds a pair of shot glasses filled to the brim with luminous green liquid. And now for the finishing touch. A flash of magic paints the glasses white with frost. You're never gonna guess what's in here. Leander slides the glasses across the table, and I get my third and fourth shocks of the evening in rapid succession. Ice leans against the bar, an elbow propped up on the counter. He catches the glasses and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The contents magically congealed, stay firmly in place. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you've wasted already. Pretty boy? Veer, perched over the bar's counter besides Ice, takes a single look at the shot glass and shakes his head. What have we here? A bucket full of boogers? Leander's nose treasure? You've eaten worse. Veer's lips twitch and his ears flatten when Ice offers him a glass. He turns his cheek with a sniff just as Ice snickers. Coward. Don't tell me you're actually... In one fluid motion, Ice throws back his head and downs the shot. That's how you do it. I'm on Ice's side with this one. Drinking that. A dark look crosses Ice's face. It's chewy. Yeah, didn't you just say it was gelatinous? Chewy? Wait, let me try again. Behind me, Min grumbles. I told you this place was a nest of degenerates. If it isn't Curious and Min! At the sound of Leander's voice, Min's pale eyes grow wide. They look ready to bolt until Curious sets a hand on their shoulders. I promise this will not take long. Min's eyes dart from Curious's hand to his face, then soften. Fine, you first. While they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All of the people I've met today know each other. Oh, really? You just realized that? Good evening, Leander. Ice. Another drinking composition, I presume? Oh, is it evening already? Could have sworn it was earlier. Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. Nothing to be afraid of. Curious acknowledges Leander and Ice with the slightest nod, ignoring Veer entirely. Not that Veer seems to mind. Okay, so we've got some... Well, the website already said that the different stories all interconnected in different ways, so I'm seeing a little bit of it. He tilts his head, an impish smile curves his lips when he spots men looming silently behind Curious. I almost didn't see you there, men. Looking for your booster seat? Oh my god. Leave them alone. Is men, trans-mask? Or non-binary, sorry? Well, I mean, they use they, them pronouns, so clearly. Min pushes back their hood. They level Veer with a cool look. Although Ice wasn't allowed to bring pets in, I thought Ice wasn't allowed to bring pets in here. Veer's tail gives an angry twitch. Okay, I wonder what that history's about. Art! I love art. At the first sign of an impending fight, Leander vaults clear over the counter. He slides between Ice and Curious. Now, let's try to keep the peace. It's not every day the esteemed doctor takes us up on a drink. His arm snakes around Curious's shoulder. You're finally taking me up on that drink, right, Curious? I'm afraid not. We're merely escorting Morgana back to her lodgings. Curious gestures in my direction and my stomach sinks. I reluctantly step into the light. As soon as he sees me, Leander's face brightens. Morgana, it's been too long. Everyone, this is Morgana. She's new to Eridia. I feel 5 pairs of eyes fix on me, and suddenly the bar feels suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. Hi. Again, yeah. Hi everyone. Again. Again? Wait, you've already met everyone? Ice and Veer level with me with subtly amused expressions. Veer's tail gives a lazy wag. We did, not that long ago either. If you got here faster than me, you could have escorted me back yourself, you fool. I'm starting to suspect she's stalking me. He looks far too pleased with himself when I roll my eyes. This calls for drinks. What does everyone want? In an instant, all eyes turn to Leander, freeing me from the burden of attention. Veer's outfit is... He's kind of eating that outfit though, right? Like, we see it? Okay. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk amongst themselves feels surreal. But for the first time since I overtook the journey to Eridia, I feel a faint glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. The low, pleasant rumble of Leander's laughter pulls me from my restless thoughts. Ha! Well, color me surprised. You make friends fast, Morgana. I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances? Acquaintances. A wise man once said that acquaintances are merely friends you haven't shared a drink with yet. Sure. A wise man? You said that here, last week. I can hear Min's lip curl with distaste from across the bar. Leander catches his throat and continues unperturbed. Let's toast to Morgana's health. Care to join in, Doctor? Curious politely declines with a wave of his hand. How about you, Min? No. Are you? No. A resounding pop pierces the din of the bar. We all turn in the direction of the noise. Veer looks almost bashful as he accepts an overflowing flute from the bartender, poured from a bottle so old its label has been worn blank. They serve champagne here? Since when? Veer pauses in the middle of licking champagne falling from his fingers with a coy smile. You don't mind, do you? In a transformation as impressive as his magic trick, the concern on Leander's face vanishes. He laughs softly. No, be my guess. I know you've got expensive taste. Then he shoots the bartender a frantic look. Unbothered or uninterested in his company, Ice cants his head at me, a light smile on his lips. How about you, Sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink earlier. No, my treat. Ice regards Leander over the lip of his glass. In the dim light, the glint in his crimson red eyes looks downright dangerous. What'll it be, Morgana? You know what? After this day, I'll take the drink. I'll take you up on that drink, as long as it's not one of those green shots. Don't knock it till you try it. Like, they taste better than they look. Somehow I doubt that, but I hold my tongue long enough for Leander to go behind the bar. He's lying, isn't he? When I glance at Ice, he only shrugs. Like I said, they were chewy. Probably poisoned too. He considers his own drink a tumbler of amber-colored whiskey. Leander's tried to kill me a dozen times by now. It's always a gamble. Fear clicks his tongue in disapproval when he finally looks my ways with a half-lidded gaze softened by his third glass of champagne. Were I you, I wouldn't let Leander put anything in my mouth. He fans his fingers over his chest, voice dipping with fake reverence. The Wet Wick is one of the finest drinking establishments in all of Eridia. While you're here, you may as well partake in the signature watered-down drink and stale nut leather. Watered-down drinks. Yeah. I went to a party like a while back. I think it was like last year. I don't really like to go to like parties that big or anything like that typically, but for friendship and new experiences I did. And me and my friend ordered a vodka cranberry. It was the most watered down drink I've ever had in my life. Also, if my mom watches this, hey mom, how's it going? He sweeps his hand towards the chipped ceramic bowl filled with spindly, speckled jerky that I can only assume is nut leather. What is with the food in this city? Nut leather sounds like some form of vegan jerky, but I think vegan jerky is like root vegetables, like carrots, right? As abysmal as you make it sound, this place is completely packed. It's not all bad, depending on the day. The food's edible. Ice takes a measured sip of his drink. Gotta stick around for the real attractions, though. Before I can ask what he means, Leander returns with a tumbler that he sets in front of me. Uneven chunks of ice bob in a pool of reddish-purple alcohol. I eye the drink suspiciously. It better not be another disgusting concoction of Leander's. Relax, it's just the local specialty, plum gin. Although if you're feeling more adventurous, I shake my head. Leander wraps his knuckles against the bar until the group falls silent. Alright everyone, let's toast. May Morgana's stay in Eridia be full of bright adventures and discoveries. Cheers! Leander, Ice, and Veer raise their glasses in unison. Min only crosses their arms and Curious watches with polite indifference. I tip back my drink. The plum gin is eye-wateringly strong. Despite a sharp medicinal edge, it goes down smooth. One sip softens the edges of my vision. The next fades of the din of the crowded bar into a low, persistent murmur. I find myself unwinding for what feels like the first time in years. Aren't you the popular one, Morgana? I'm guessing you met Curious first? It would be more accurate to say that I found her. He saved my life. I merely performed my duty as a doctor. Although I must admit, I was confused when I woke up missing all my clothes. You didn't have to say all that now. Leander makes a choked noise somewhere behind him, Min's eyes. It's not what you think. Then why'd you say it? Morgana was in grave condition. I could hardly treat such injuries through tattered clothes. The silence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Kura's disappointment and catch Veer snickering behind his hand. Why would you say that? I wish I had an option to not say that. What the heck? This is my... wait. That's my cue to change the topic. Curious isn't the only one that saved me today. Don't you listen? I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's Min for you. Leander reaches for Min, but they duck under his arm with practiced ease, without so much as looking his way. As reliable as they are moody. You're one to talk, considering you neglected to warn her to stay off the streets at night. Oh, I must have gotten a little distracted. Yeah, he was getting off. It was weird. Min's only response is a short breath. At any rate, I never got the chance to thank you, Min. Don't. The less soulless alive, the better. For a heartbeat, Min's eyes flick towards Ice, and their lips twist. Ice is too busy nodding along to V's enthusiastic pantomime of stabbing to notice, lost, no doubt, in an enthralling discussion. I've had enough of this hellhole. Let's go. Min and Curious share a brief look, then the doctor speaks up. Very well, but there is something I must discuss with Leander, if you'll excuse us, Morgana. And just like that, the three of them depart, leaving me alone to savor my gin in silence. Or so I think, until I hear a voice so low it's practically a purr. Lost your tour guide? I turned to find crimson and pink eyes trained on me. It's not lost on me that they chose the instant the others left to strike. Just my luck. I had to be abandoned with the two most irritating people I've met all day. Monsters or not, there's no telling what I'll do if either one of them push me again. Don't act like you're dangerous now. Don't tell me Leander already snuck off to get his knob slobbered out back. I like that he has this insane reputation of just being like for the people, so to speak, but Veer is the flirty one. Well, I think it's fake flirtiness, but still flirty. He's got business with curious and men. 2-in-1 business, Isn't he lucky? I was about to make the same joke, okay. I'm no better than him, is what I'm saying. I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Veer's grown noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped on the back of his hand. His ears twitch whenever a hiccup shakes his shoulders. Why are you so far away? Come join us. He pats the empty bar stool beside Ice, but I hesitate. The smile Veer wears is sweet and distinctly shy. And with drinks in the mix, I dread how he and Ice will mess with me next. We don't bite. I'm not sure about that. Just hours ago, he tried to rob me and you threatened me. Me? Still? Surely you must be mistaken. You sure it was me? Yes, it was you, and then you had the gall to kick me out just so you could go drinking. He gives another one of those shrugs. I was lonely. A simpler answer than I expected, but I guess I can't fault him for that. I was about to say, fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. Veer suddenly slumps forward. Gossamer sleeves pulling where he rests his elbows on his knees. Ice sets his hand on Veer's waist. I am losing my mind. The Ice sets his hand on Veer's waist, narrowly preventing him from tipping off the counter. How about we start fresh, Begin with proper introductions, get off on the right foot and whatnot. I'll start. The name's Veer, Hunter Extraordinaire. Veer's right hand flutters to his chest and he bows his head, flinching when hair falls into his eyes. Ice doesn't say anything, so I suppose it's my turn. It's Morgana. Veer considers me for a long moment, his tail idly swaying behind him. Then he knocks back the rest of his champagne. Knocking back champagne is crazy. It's a pleasure to formally meet you, Morgana. He says my name slowly and deliberately, savoring every syllable. A tingle jumps down my spine. I quickly turn my gaze away. You've gotta get yourself, she's so repressed and that's probably why she's doing all this. Get it together though. Ice smirks in my reaction over the rim of his glass. Right, you're so easy. Make it difficult at least. I don't mind simping, but at least make it hard. Is something funny? Nope. I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goading me into another ridiculous game. While their sharp cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. It must be the gin. You just like to get flirted with. A flash of white over Ice's shoulder catches my eye. Across the bar, Curious heads for the door. I don't see Leander or Min, but it feels wrong to let him leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Veer hums and wags his finger at me as I leave. I slip through the crowd, careful not to touch anyone. But just as I'm nearing Curious... I stagger, shoulder checked by a man with a neck thicker than both of my thighs. He stares down at me, nostrils flaring. Out of my way, shit stain. Oh my god. My words spill out on their own. You watch it. I regret them as soon as they leave my mouth. That fucking gin. I'm not a I'm such a calm drinker, bro, that I can't even imagine being in this situation. I'd just be chilling. I would just be chilling on a couch somewhere. I'm so laid back and I would just start smiling. The roughneck wheels around, shoving a bloodhound out of the way so he can close in on me. What did you say? He shoves me backwards, sending me tumbling to the sticky floor. I'm fine, but my heart leaps into my throat when I see the roughneck bearing down on me. You trying to start something here? Don't start none, won't be none. The roughneck freezes, his fist cocked back. A group of bloodhounds called by the commotion circle him, sizing him up. For what feels like an agonizingly long moment, the roughneck looks from me to the bloodhounds. Finally, he sniffs and spits on the floor next to me. The lob narrowly misses my cheek. Screw it. Too many freaks in this circus tonight. He turns his back on me and comes face to face with Ice. Get him. Get him, and I'm doing your route right now, Ice. A dangerous smile spreads across his face. You'll do. What happens next is a blur. Ice's fist crashes into the roughneck's jaw, causing an eruption of gaffs, shouts, and even cheers around us. I scramble to my feet right as the frantic crowd swarms around me, cutting off my sight of everyone and everything. Through the ruckus, I hear Leander shouting, "Hey, hey, Ice, take it outside." Ignore them, everyone. Look, drinks are on me. With those 4 words, the wake erupts into hoots and hollers. The ring around me disperses as bloodhounds and onlookers rush towards the bar. Through the thinning crowd, I catch a glimpse of familiar faces. Ice vanishes out the back, dragging the roughneck behind him. Curious lingers near the door, searching, I suspect, for any wounded before he departs. Min draws their hood up tight as they slip out a side door, while Vera leans on the counter to swipe a glass of wine from behind the bar. And Leander, seated at the opposite end of the bar, gestures dramatically and apologetically to the bartender. In the space of a heartbeat, I realize there's no telling when or if I'll see any of them ever again. Whoever I pursue may be the last person I get to speak to tonight. I follow. Okay. Now, I'm gonna end the episode after I make this decision. Am I going to follow... I'm not really interested in following men at the moment. I will say they're last place for me. Ice is really interesting, and then if we follow Ice, we'll have like the whole hive mind thing, and then we'll get to probably see a bit more of him and Veer, considering that they're both monsters. And I'm really interested in Ice's backstory because I don't think he knows who he is fully. I could be wrong. I could be extremely wrong, but I don't know. So we have him, and then also if we manage to follow him, we'll possibly find some sort of cure for our curse. I feel like men, considering they were trying to break into the pandemonium, whatever the building is called, I think that they and I would work together and just come across a few more secrets that directly involve that. But I'm gonna save them for later. There's Kuras. Let me save actually, so then later on I could like, I'm gonna save it down here. Yeah, so then I can, okay. If we follow Veer, I'm gonna put Veer and Min at the bottom for now. Leander could directly help us with him being a powerful mage. Kuras is just an interesting doctor, and I really like his look and personality. And all of them have secrets, but I feel like Kuras has some insane secrets. So it's between Kuras, Ice, and Leander. Let's start with him. And I don't know, will I do the demo ending of every single character? Who knows? Probably. I follow Kuras. Okay, that's who I choose. Hot on Kuras's heels, I squeeze my way out of the bar. Of everyone I've met, he seems the most likely to help me and the least likely to murder me on a whim. Least likely is probably Leander as well. Earlier this morning, he said I could go to the clinic for help whenever I needed it. Time to see if that promise was actually worth something. I breathe a sigh of relief once I'm free of the crowded bar. Kuras, hearing me, turns my way. Morgana, you seem upset. I take it the Amaryllis district is not to your liking. The mage who raised me sometimes made bizarre comments about the Amaryllis district, and now I think I have an inkling of what she meant. Yeah, I don't think it'd be my favorite either. It's a bit too rowdy for me personally. That's not why I stepped out. You're not in need of treatment after that fall, are you? I scowl up at him, and he holds his hand in a mollifying gesture. I apologize, Morgana. Please continue. About time. I'm trying to find a space to stop and save. Okay, I'm gonna give myself a certain amount of time. Wherever I'm at, I'm gonna stop. Someone cuts right across me towards Kuras, stopping us both in the middle of the street. And you know what? We will find out who that is in the next episode. So that said and done, well, let me get to a better screen. With that all said and done, thank you all so much for watching this episode. I hope you all enjoy it. I'm really liking this so far. I'm loving this so far. I'm having so much fun, and I have to stop myself. I've recorded 3 things already. My eyes are fatigued. I can barely read. Yeah, and I just got through doing midterm, so I've been pretty much staring at my computer much longer than usual this past week, and I'm a little tired, and I actually need to get some things done tonight. So with that all said and done, let me know how you like the episode, and if when I'm done with Cura's route, should I just go ahead and like do all 5 of them, because they're all demos and they should be relatively short, you know, because there's what Curious, Veer, Leander, Min, Ice. That's what, 5 people? Maybe 6? And if each route takes about 3 hours or so? Yeah. Like, the next episode? Okay, yeah. Each route takes about 3 hours or so to complete. So I think it'd be interesting to, try out something different with the other ones, but y'all let me know if that's something you even want to see. But for right now, we're gonna wrap up Curious in the next episode, because I don't think it'll take too long, because at first I was just gonna stick to one person, but I'm actually interested in every single one of them. But yeah, y'all let me know how it goes. Don't forget, y'all let me know what you think. Oh my gosh, I gotta stop. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode to finish Curious route. See ya.